And we are back here at Worlds play-ins for the final game of the night. We have made it to the end of 2 best-of-5s, and this is the second one. Red Canids up against Peace. One more game to decide who will go on to the next stage in a best-of-5 against Cloud9.
And already we see that Red Canids are actually going to prioritize the Leona pick over the AD carry, and obviously that Lucian is still available, so this means Peace get to choose which one they want. They end up taking the Misfortune, which has found much more success so far in this tournament. They'll take it with the Braum. And actually, instead of the Lucian, they're putting Titan, potentially, it looks like, it's a hover, on this Ezreal instead. And I was wondering when we were going to see a big shift in terms of the jungles, because we haven't seen either of these teams touch the new assassins that are in this meta.
Yeah.
And it won't be this game either, as we do see Aegis once again lock in the Lee Sin with that Ezreal we were talking about.
Yeah, Lee Sin comes in. Titan gonna run back the Ezreal one more time. Always listen to your mother. That's what Titan said in game 1. And maybe he can say that here in game 5 once again. Tally will get his hands on Sylas as well. So we have Misfortune and Sylas, a couple of picks that we know, the Misfortune just for her tier right now is insane, and Tally has been awesome on the Sylas so far. Already a lot of great ultimates to take. Let's see what is going to be taken off the table here in terms of bans. The Rise, the GP once again. I love that Poppy ban, by the way. That was a really cute one. I like how they go to the blue side and they take that one down. They're like, nope, not this time.
They've also banned the Zoe that we saw Avenger play last time. That is, of course, Peace have banned it, so that's not an option anymore. The Rise is taken away, and we'll see what final mid-pick they're going to take. And it's going to be the Syndra, so not giving them that opportunity to try to kind of play that slower style with the Syndra, play around that Ezreal scaling and the late-game team fighting that she does bring with that CC. Question now becomes what the second ban will be here for Red Canids, because it could once again put that focus on the top side of the map. We don't know what their top solo lane pick or either of their solo lane picks are going to be just yet, so there's no hints as to what they're trying to avoid. The Gangplank strong, obviously. Finally, they banned the Lilia. I'm just going to cut that point off. And finally, Babip's not going to be able to play this champion. Now, they still have the Nidalee. Doesn't work as well with this composition, though.
Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see where they do put their cards here for the jungle. You would imagine they take it now and then save counterpick for, a solo lane.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we don't know 100% where that Sylas is going to go, although I would say 95 into the hands of Tally. And yes, it will be the Nidalee that does come in here, as we have seen Titan hovering this Nico multiple times tonight. Don't think we will be seeing that one here. Sorry to Nico fans out there.
But he's still giving you the highlights. Still giving you the hover. And hey, Akali.
Okay.
This was another alternate option that we had in terms of AP solo laners that they didn't take. Remember, we saw the game where they had the Yone mid. They ended up putting the Sylas on the top side of the map. There was that Aatrox game. This time they'll put the Akali into the mid lane here with the Camille lock-in, and it's going to be Renekton versus Camille, a classic. Feels like we're going a little bit back in time here, but the Renekton gives you such strong follow-up engage. You can either start the fight off with the Renekton and then have the Sylas follow up, either or. But if you end up hitting a spear to start this off, it becomes very difficult to front-to-back team fight here with what Red Canids have, as well as the Camille is often going to be the initiator herself and tries to go in and Hextech ultimatum. She ends up getting blown up by so many ways. If she does decide to go in first, it's going to have to be a lot slower of a team fighting composition here for Red Canids than they would like.
Yeah. There's a lot of things here in terms of the lanes. Like, we see the classic Renekton Nidalee. It's back again, and it's in game 5, right? They pull it out. It means that is such a comfortable lane for Babip to put his focus on and just go there. You can also look for potential plays out of the Akali. Might be a little bit harder to lock down. But in terms of that top lane, the Camille's not going to be enjoying her time too much. The Akali early on, especially, is not going to be having a fun time. Then you think about the bottom lane as well. We got MF once again here for the side of Peace. So in terms of the early game in the lanes and how it should go, you would imagine that Peace will be pretty comfortable. Maybe they can roll that into something more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to shut down any sort of collapse in terms of front-to-back team fights or engages, because bullet time can be such a great kill securing ultimate when you're the targets that you're trying to pick off are running away. You can kill them on the chase, but it's often more importantly used as a way to dissuade attackers from coming in, something like Elisa and Camille, even an Akali. If they go in but are then stunned up by this Renekton or the Sylas, it's really easy for the bullet time, especially with that extra Braum peel, to just wipe everybody out as they try to go in. So when you look at Red Canids' composition, I think it's going to have to be a very slow poke from Ezreal in some of these late-game team fights, and then the follow-up, the execution with the Akali and the Camille to finish off those targets might be how you have to play this. And there's a little bit of de-synergy, the lack of synergy here between this composition's front line and its back line, I think is really going to be felt, especially when that misfortune comes online.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to take another moment, guys. If you're watching this super late at night, maybe you're a OC fan, you've been watching all night long. Could be even 7 a.m. for you over there. Thank you for sticking with us through the entire time. To the Brazilian fans and to everybody else out there as well who is joining us, thank you for being with us this entire best of 5. If you survived the entire day, well, congratulations. That's like even the next level. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome 5th game, and it's going to matter a ton for both of these teams, obviously. So let's see how it does go down as Peace. They're going to say, okay, we've got Braum. Let's get in there level 1 and try to put on some pressure.
Nice dodge on the spear there from Titan, and this is not a fight that you want to take with this setup here as Red Canids. You can't find that angle. A little bit of lack of commitment here, though.
Yeah, Peace are really just, okay, it's going to release, and Red Canids, they're not backing down from the fight, and Peace are like, uh-oh, they're calling our bluffs. I don't know if we want to go in on this one. As in goes Jojo, the exhaust goes on to Jojo, and he will go down as he just kept running forward, decided, well, I can't run away, I'll just die, so might as well just try to pull them forward. But that is big for Peace. They don't get the buff, but they still pick up first blood for the Nidalee.
Yeah, it's going to be massive for Babip to actually have, once again, a tempo advantage here. The turn was really nice, and as you mentioned, Jojo is kind of a sitting duck once he goes in like that. There's no way out. And unfortunately, this looked like Red Canids kind of got back control. A lot of time is wasted here for Peace. But the flash forward, the greed here to look for the ultimate punish was something that, unfortunately, at level 1, this composition isn't great at pulling off. I mean, Ezreal isn't going to be able to do anything. He's not going to be able to do AoE damage. He's just got his Mystic Shot at this point in time. So there's not a lot of ways for you to actually follow up on that. I think if they had just said, oh, well, we wasted a ton of their time, let's do our red, would have been a much nicer advantage. The greed was real. If Peace got punished there, would have been a totally different story, but this is not a comp that could punish like that.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, Aladoric, you know, he got a little bit greedy himself, looked for the flash follow-up play after they got the kill on a Jojo, amounted to pretty much nothing, but obviously the mistake there from the side of Jojo a little bit more egregious, as now Aegis says, well, I'll just go top lane. I have red buff, and I'm Lee Sin. Let's see what we can do. The stun will be flashed. Vizicsacsi knows and is taking this seriously, but the damage might not be enough. He gets the double slice and dice, but the stun under the turret gets Aegis so low, and Guigo takes another shot, but Avenger is here, and he's going to be the one that keeps everybody safe, because if he wasn't here, that Nidalee might have just had a beast.
And now Renekton's lost his flash. This was such a close skirmish here, but at the end of the day, nobody falls. Teleport coming back through here from Vizicsacsi. You imagine the same will be true of Guigo once he does reset that health. There it is. And this is actually really high-level play between these two teams in terms of how they're playing out this early. And we're getting the maximum amount of potential threats here across the map. The rotation was matched there, though, by Peace. And they're able to almost turn that around into an additional kill. And you mentioned this before, it's not an easy lane for the Camille to play into early, but the fact that Babip, who already has that extra kill, the first blood, is going to be able to hover this lane means that it's going to become a little bit more difficult. And this is, of course, a flashless Camille. Not uncommon to see, but that means you're under more threat.
It just means that he just has to be here. And Vizicsacsi is just backing in the minions. He's like, yeah, I dare you to fight me in the minions. That is not the play. Vizicsacsi just laughs at them and shuts that one down immediately. Guigo will go down. Here's the stun, the lockdown with the abscond, and Tally will secure it there for the side of Babip, who does get the kill. And all of a sudden, Peace here, 2,000 gold, 5 minutes into the game, as it is going to be Violet who does have to flash away. Titan looking for a bit more, but they will not be able to secure the kill. Peace are getting some huge advantages. Now we have a teleport. This is just really getting out of control. They're trying to get onto Teton, and they will, as Peace will get the one, but here's the follow-up from Avenger, as Aladoric is getting in here. We got Babip over here as well. No heal is going to come through, so Violet will go down, but Avenger is going to give his life over as well. And again, that's just more kills under the belt of Peace.
I mean, you're not even really getting that much of a consolation prize here, unfortunately, as Red Canids. Yeah, you get a kill as Avenger here, but it's your second death. When you do go down, you don't have teleport to return to lane. You don't have your teleport in general now, so it's a huge tool burned for very little gain. And now we're looking at a massive gold lead before we're really even starting to have a conversation about objectives. You watch this fight start off, and Violet is very happy to walk away. Yes, he didn't have cleanse, so I could see the idea here. You are, you know, a lockdown champion as a support here as the Leona. As Tally just comes in here and says, no, you don't exist. And even with Avenger coming through, you're just outnumbered right now. You've got to realize...
He's level 4 Akali.
Yeah.
Like he can get the one, but then he's just sitting duck.
You've got to realize that there's a lot of power in just saying, well, the enemy mid laner has teleported bottom, so what can I gain in my lane instead? Without utilizing my teleport, keeping that teleport advantage. Just seeing blood in the water. I mean, it's game 5. Nerves coming through, I think, a little bit here for Red Canids, and there have been a team that have found in this best of 5 and in this group the most success with these early game exchanges. So far, it's not working out this time, though.
Yeah, would have to agree, as now Guigo's in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have flash, and there's the stun once again, and just an auto attack to get it done. As maybe he was trying to bait for Aegis to come up here, as he misses the Q, and the heal comes through, and Vizicsacsi is still alive in the minions, picks up another kill, and Peace, this time around, they are getting the revenge for game 4.
I mean, he's got a phage and a refillable potion, too. He's already back up at half health after that heal coming through from the minions, and there's just no win. And it feels like, Valdez, this has been, you know, this is such a different series from our last series that we had. It feels like a million years ago now. But in the last series we had that went to game 5, it was back and forth. We had a lot of leads for Beyond Gaming, some comebacks, right? But in this series, every single game of the 5 has felt so extremely one-sided, and it's all been about that early game. And this of the 5 has been the most one-sided. This of the 5 has felt like the one that I mean, you've already got a 3,000 gold lead before we're crossing the 8-minute mark.
It's a little bit egregious at this point. It's very true.
And if the pattern holds true here, it's not a good look, unfortunately, for Red Canids, who just so heavily committed, so heavily doubled down on that level 1 fight, so heavily doubled down on that teleport fight in the bottom side of the map. Camille's going to struggle, already finding herself basically at half of the CS of Vizicsacsi here. Vizicsacsi, excuse me. And I'm starting to wonder if the walls are closing in here, because I was so confident going into this final game. You could see it on their faces, but it's all slipping through their fingers now.
You know, you mentioned nerves, and it's a different type of nerves. It's not the one where you cower and you're afraid to make plays and you're not doing it. It's almost like, I got to be the guy that makes the big play that wins us the game. And it feels like everybody's got this, like, everybody's on edge. Even the side of Peace. I mean, we saw it even in the level 1 out of Aladoric. He's like, okay, I really want to get this follow-up. When actually, you could have just held on to your flash and stuff like that. It felt like Red Canids, they were really just like, I'm going to make the play. I'm going to save my teammate. Let's do this. When actually, as you mentioned, some passivity may have, in fact, helped them. Interesting in some of those instances. So we'll have to wait and see how this one develops. Obviously, Peace have a gigantic lead at this point in time. Vizicsacsi's getting free plates. Peace are getting the free Rift Herald. There's nothing that Red can do about that one. The bottom lane's not pushing any turrets. That's not happening anytime soon here with the Ezreal especially. And so Peace, they can probably take this first blood turret up in the top side too if they would like. I mean, want to force it quickly.
It's insane how much they're getting, because Ezreal wasn't in bot, so Titan is just now showing up to get that wave, so there's nothing lost there. Violet was pushing mid, so they get a Rift Herald and top pressure while losing nothing bottom. This wave is going to crash into the bottom turret just as Violet gets back to catch it. So I mean, talk about getting all the gold that is available on the map. It's like they missed almost zero. And this is just really good play from ahead. And it's about as standard as it gets. And you've got to be so careful too now as Guigo, because you can't just sit back and try to farm. You'll get dove under turret. You need that a little bit of pressure in the wave. You need to try to be up there farming, but if you don't know where Babip is, you could die anytime, instantly. You don't want to give this guy further lead.
Yeah, he might just die to the Renekton. I mean, we already saw that once as well. He's down 2 levels. He's trying to get vision. As you can see, he's coming down here. He's like, well, I gotta clear out this control ward, otherwise Babip can just come on in here. And that's going to be a good ward over the top there that does see Babip, but at the same time, Guigo can't do much because he can't approach the wave. It means he loses all of this gold. He picks up a tiny bit of XP, and Babip might just even hold on to this Rift Herald. You don't have to throw it down here. You're so far ahead. You can just hold on to it, get a lot of value. There's still 3.5 minutes for plates. And just throw it down in another lane, or wait until a little bit later to put it in.
Yeah, you could drop it mid. I mean, how quickly can we get inner turret gold? I mean, I don't think you want to waste that on that second turret at this stage, but they force a rotation up here from Aegis.
Yeah.
And again, the bottom side of the map so heavily controlled as well. I mean, we've been putting all the focus here because Guigo just can't play the game, but plates are going down here as well as Titan's left by the wayside. As a Leona tries to help stave the pressure mid. Avenger fell behind too, and this story, I hate to say it, doesn't seem like it has a happy ending if you're a Brazilian fan watching this one, and it's been so back and forth this series. As at 11 minutes into the game, we do get that MasterCard Mythic purchase. Going to be the Rocket Bell once again here for Babip.
He gets that so early on.
The Everfrost coming through here too for Tally. Like,
yeah, he got the first blood with the Nidalee, so this Nidalee just as bad as anybody else at this point in time. And there's this Rift Herald that he held on to. He's going to save that for the bottom tier 1. That is almost definitely going to go down. We do have a bit of a rotation, but Aegis is trying to stave off like 5 people's lanes right now. And there's not even that many lanes. Like, he's trying to be literally everywhere. It's like, okay, I have to help Camille, who can get dived at any point. The Rift Herald's going down in the bottom lane. Guigo might just die here. Doesn't look like he has the hook shot, but actually Vizicsacsi did take a lot of damage. As the flash comes over the wall, that's a lot of respect shown by Vizicsacsi. Just saying, I don't have to take the risk. We kind of messed up the dive, that's okay. We pushed her off of the wave, and we're probably still going to get the turret anyway.
I really like the choice to drop the Rift Herald bottom, too, because you're already guaranteed this top turret, no matter what. Yep. It's going to be first turret going over to Vizicsacsi here. You get the bottom turret with it in moments' time, and then you could just squat Violet mid. He's going to always be safe because you have so much map control. And then Tally can go to the bottom side and side lane, and who can stop him? Who can even consider stopping him? Even if you put 3 people down there to try to kill Tally, he could just Everfrost and get away. He's going to be fine in almost every scenario. So now you can just put him on the bottom side. You can put Violet mid. He can just continue to farm. And you just kind of do objectives on cooldown. Every time there's a Drake up, every time there's a Herald up, you're just going to take it and slowly choke Red Canids out of the game.
Yeah. I'm taking a look at some of the players on the side of Red Canids. It doesn't feel like they've given up, right? I mean, it's still a game 5. Anything can happen. You know, I struggle to say that. Obviously, everybody kind of knows in this position. It is very obvious just how far ahead Peace are. But at the same time, they don't look defeated, which I feel like is at least good. They say, okay, well, we still have a game to play. Peace could make some mistakes. Let's see what we got here. And
yeah, I mean, you and I are definitely very much the cup is half full tonight in terms of some of the games we've cast, because we have had so many one-sided games in this series, and you know, this is one of those games that you never want to be in a game 5 like this, where this is where you want to show how much grit you have. This is where you want to prove that you could come back from anything, you could do anything. And I mean, you've got 2 hands tied behind your back, and you've got a chain attached to one of your feet. Like, that's the situation that Red Canids are going to have to come through. This may be the most famous play-ins game of all time if Red Canids can come back from this.
I was going to say, I'm like, we've seen stomps before, Wolf. I don't know about that, but
yeah, if they can come back.
Twist there at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it happens if it does. But at this point in time, we will just have to wait on that one.
We're still consulting with the script writers, you know, about how they come back from this one.
Somebody get last script on the phone. He might know what to do. He's got the final one. And yeah, I mean, at this point, for the side of Red Canids, like the what's the name of this item? It's been a long night. The one the Lee Sin just got.
The Leeching Leer? Oh, the Lee Sin Gore Drinker, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, only the most OP and famous item right now. Yeah, it's been that kind of night. Yeah, he got it first before Camille was even close to her Mythic. He has more CS than his top laner.
Yeah, he has 7,000 or 700 more gold than she has in general in lane. And everybody else is starting to collect their items. I mean, Peace has the full set, outside, of course, of Aladoric.
Okay, let's see how this one goes. It is going to be a 3-on-1 while Peace are pushing mid. A teleport comes in to make it 4-on-1. Well, that's just not fair. A stopwatch is used to buy even more time. Vizicsacsi will finally die. Big rotation comes down here for the side of Red Canids. As now we're just diving Titan. A ton of damages coming in. He lands that Abscon, and down will go the Ezreal. Diving in between the two turrets at this point in time, knowing that everybody else was on the bottom side of the map.
And Babip can just self-heal to get out of there, and that's a turret and a kill for a 4-man collapse onto the Renekton. So small prizes here. Consolation prize, I think, doesn't even do justice. The amount of, I mean, the lack of, I don't know, words are hard, it's 5 a.m., but it's not an equivalent exchange, okay? Yes. We'll make the anime reference. Because for Red Canids here, the amount of resources you need to even kill one side laner is never going to be worth it, but if you don't go for it, if you don't look for that pick, if you don't hope that Peace make a mistake on the rotation, or you catch him sleeping on that, or maybe somebody rotates in and it's a 4v2 to get both of those kills, if you can't even do that, I mean, you might as well type /FF in the chat. We don't do that. So, yeah. I mean, the attempt is good, but Peace just have a good punish. And you have all the cards in your hand as Peace right now. And they're just handling every situation that comes at them so well. That's why it's so hard to imagine a world in which mistakes get made. But hey, look, stuff like this, again, proactive play. Just try to collapse on the Renekton.
I mean, they gave the shutdown gold to the Camille, I believe. Yeah, I think it was the Camille, because the first kill on this side to go to the Akali down here in the bottom lane. So Guigo picks up the shutdown gold. So hey, I mean, you're super far behind. You get your revenge, and you quite literally, you get the shutdown onto the Renekton. Maybe that can get this Camille going. That's, you know, something you have to try to play around if you are red. As now we are going to have the engage. Camille pretty good at that, no matter how far behind you are. They're trying to get on top here. But even the true shot barrage is going to be denied by the door, held up here by Aladoric. As he does get that one in, the flashes are coming in as well. Aladoric is really feisty. He's looking for more, as that is a super awesome spear just right through that one. As it does land, and Peace are going to continue, and here comes Big Boss Vizicsacsi, the final boss, and the side of red, they know they can't even really fight him here, as even without Dominus, he is just diving the turrets, and Peace are taking them down one by one, just like the dominoes go down, as everybody gets a kill, picks them up, double kill here for the MF, and we're even pushing with the Rift Herald in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a bit of a sad B there, as they do end up losing tally, but this is basically a push to win at 18 minutes. The Rift Herald can get another charge here, maybe even onto a Nexus turret if they time it right, and I think she will actually get that charge off. Guigo's going to have to get in there to stop it. They don't overcommit. The death timers are still very low at this stage in time, but either way, you've got an inhibitor. It's a sub 20-minute inhibitor, but it means you just have ultimate control.
Okay, well, they're really trying to force this one here as the concussive blows come in, and this teleport not going to be able to do much for Avenger. He does have to get out of there. Bit of a, you know, Hail Mary. Don't blame him for it. I mean, look at the position right now in the game. It's 11,000 gold at 18 minutes. And this means that Peace will get a free Infernal Drake. This is Infernal Drake's soul point. So if they do get one more, they will have Infernal Soul on top of everything else.
Yeah, 10,000 gold lead, as you mentioned. As this is the Axe replay, we're going to watch how this choke point fight happens. They do have the ability to teleport a Sylas in, and because they're so ahead, all Aladoric has to do is stand here, nobody can break through. And notice that by the time that bullet time goes off, everybody from Red Canids is already out. Because they know this, as soon as the Braum steps forward, and Aladoric is like, I'm in this choke, Sylas is coming, they know this is no longer a winnable situation because of that bullet time, because of the amount of lockdown that Peace have, the advantage they have at the stage. You can't stay here, and yet still they can't escape. And then find themselves in the meat grinder. They're able to trade tally back here. It's the turret that's doing the most of the work here, but as more structures fall, I mean, some of the tools that Red Canids could have had in a normal standard game that was very even at the 19-minute mark would have been the Ezreal that's starting to come online. The side lane pressure a Camille can have, right? The Akali, this could maybe start to come online and get fed.
Yeah.
Actually start executing the backline.
This is supposed to be the time,
yeah,
right now.
But it's not, because they're so far behind that we don't even get to have the conversation about these tools. We don't even get to talk about the composition. Could be almost any 5 champions with this deficit, and the situation will be the same.
Yep, that's the way it goes sometimes. that is the brutality of League of Legends. At times, I suppose.
I mean, that's just how it is. Like,
Yep.
professional esports, professional sports, you fall this far behind, it's going to get hard. But in games like League of Legends, you fall this far behind, your opponent makes all the right choices. I mean, you're really just hoping and praying at this point. And it's unfortunate that it's such an anticlimactic end to what was such a back and forth best of 5. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Nice.
I had to pull that one out, you know.
We're getting to that point here. I get it.
I mean, I don't know, what have you gone with so the cookie crumbles?
I don't know. There's not much else left in my head. These are taking everything now. It's 21 minutes just about. The spears are all landing, too. And shout out to Babip. You know, he got on his Nidalee, and this time around he gets to crush on it once again. Really showing the power of what this duo can do, but also just what this champion can do in the right hands. And, you know, we were talking, you know, we were memeing a bit like, you know, we don't know who C9 could possibly go against, and they're probably scratching their heads wondering, like, I mean, it could be either one of these two. But I think Peace here at the end, as long as they close it out, they've kind of, like, secured that spot. And it'll be interesting to see how Cloud9 will prepare if it does end up being that way.
There were some draft issues on the side of Red Canids, but I will be frank and say that I think that the biggest thing that Peace had to deal with, their biggest opponent, their biggest enemy in this best of 5 was themselves, actually, oftentimes overextending, giving too much tempo over, not respecting Red Canids in a lot of situations. You know, if you think back to the last game where they ended up giving over so much gold to Red Canids, game 1, a lot of extra gold going over to Titan for no reason. These are things you're going to have to think about as Peace when you end up facing against an even tougher opponent in Cloud9 in a best of 5 like this. You're going to have to tighten it up, but it feels very manageable, right? It feels like some adjustments that you can make, because as long as you're playing your best game and aren't crossing the line, this is still a very strong, very well-coordinated team we see here.
Yeah.
And Peace from ahead plays beautiful games at League of Legends.
Yeah, they're definitely very solid in this exact point. When they're very far ahead, you know, even if they're not very far ahead, if they're just ahead, if they have total control, they have a draft that has some, you know, usability in this point in the game, they can kind of just go for it. As you can see here, the Baron is being taken at 22.5 minutes. There's not much that Red Canids can do about it. And to be honest, I wouldn't even try to challenge it. Because if you go in there and you die, all 5 of you get wiped, you're probably just losing the game. So just hold on to it. Give them the Red Bull Baron power play into the hands of Peace. And you just gotta like your one hope and prayer right now as Red Canids is that your Akali, your Camille, and your Ezreal scale, and that Peace rather allow you to do that. That's all you gotta hope for right now. So you gotta delay, but instead they're going for the fight. They're looking for the kick here as Vizicsacsi just laughs at them. And the teleport comes in from Guigo. He's not going to have too much luck on the backside either as the follow-up comes in. And that is the stolen ultimate that does come in here from Tally as we are just getting right underneath all of the turrets as well. Babip is going to clean it up. A double kill here for Tally. And it looks like we have our next team into the next round here. Peace will be taking down the inhibitors. They have the 2 turrets left to go. Guigo's going to give it one last try, as he will desperately fall. And down he goes, the ace in the hands of Babip, and congratulations to Peace. They will move on to the next round to face Cloud9 here at the Play-ins of Worlds.
Peace, a team that, at their best, played some very clean League of Legends tonight. In this best of 5, the games they took leads in, they knew how to push their advantages further. They didn't overextend in that final game with the massive lead they had. And all throughout this group stage, this is a team that looks very well coordinated. If you hadn't watched before, if you hadn't been told, if you didn't know that they had a sub in the top lane, you'd probably think this guy's been playing with the team for a while. And yeah, there were some growing pains on our way here, but in the final moments when it mattered most in this elimination match, they stood together, punished some of the overextensions there of Red Canids, and they're able to move on. But this is just the beginning. It was a hard-fought, back-and-forth best of 5, but now they have the real, true test in Cloud9, their final opponent. One more best of 5 to go through, and then they'll have their opportunity to play against the legends that stay wait in the group stage. And for Red Canids, I mean, it was a heroic attempt. We got to see a little bit of everything from them. They showed us really unique style of drafting. They played around late game scaling. They played around early tempo leads. We even got to see Avenger make his return to the stage after Grevthar's appearance in playoffs. Didn't think we'd see him. They gave him his shot. He brought us to a 5th game, but it's Peace who advanced in the end.
Peace make it through. I have to say, throughout this best of 5, I think you put it best. Sometimes it was their own selves that got in their way. Once they were playing their game, there were no big mistakes, and they got ahead, and they were able to cruise. Things were good. They were speeding along. It was nice and sunny. It was great. And, of course, obviously, there's always the other side here. He just will be crying at the end.
I mean, look,
as it is so heartbreaking for the side of Red Canids to get this close and then not be able to move on.
In defeat, there's always going to be heartbreak. I mean, you were so close, and I think the biggest tragedy of it all was that in 2 big sweeping mistakes in that level 1 fight and that Akali teleport, they didn't even get to play Game 5, and I think in a lot of ways, they didn't get to show their skills, they didn't get to show what they're capable of, and that's what hurts, you know, but that's top League of Legends. It wouldn't be a fantastic tournament that people watch worldwide from every region if there wasn't a little bit of emotion and heartbreak involved.
Absolutely. So they tried their best. They couldn't make it. Peace will advance to play up against Cloud9, but it's been a long day. Thank you, Will, for joining me, and thank you guys for sticking with us to the end, but we do have a bit more. 10 games later, and we do have Worlds Cooldown up next, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Cooldown.